Hey guys, today I want to talk to you a little bit more about this concept of practice recipes that we've sort of been hitting at in the standing Qigong discussion lately. And I want to talk to you about it because for me anyway, currently this recipe model is a really great way to think about going about the acquiring any new skill, but specifically your standing practice because it's so murky, right? What you're trying to feel inside the body and access physically and energetically is, for me, it's like putting something in the oven and it's the same black box, right? It goes in, who knows what happens, and maybe what comes out is delicious, and maybe what comes out is a complete disaster. But at the very beginning, when you want to build some new skills like your dissolving skills, having recipes to follow becomes really important. So that's what I've been trying to give you in terms of the audio, right? You don't have to think your way. We're trying to turn down the thinking part of your brain. You don't have to think your way through a standing practice because I'm going to talk you through it. That's the point of those audio downloads. And many of you have been writing to me saying exactly that. Like, oh, this is so, it takes a whole level of strain and stress out of my practice because I don't have to think about what to do next. You're going to guide me through it. So instead, the energy that you would put into thinking your way through it, which ultimately is going to mess you up, you can put into feeling. And I want to share with you a couple of interesting replies or pieces of feedback about feeling to show you sort of the kinds of things you want to be looking for when you experience your practice. Again, not thinking about, because the step by step, yeah, you have to get that started, but you really get cooking when you can put the step by step stuff aside a little bit and go to direct feel. So here's a couple examples of finding nuance inside the recipes or breaking the recipes altogether. So somebody wrote me back and said, the other day I was having difficulty feeling where the first gate at the crown of the head was. So I decided to stop the audio and spend about 10 more minutes on just feeling the area around the gate to pinpoint it more clearly. Great idea, first of all, right? The recipe is designed to take you through it and help you go through it. But there's no reason you can't stop and say, no, my body's saying, I don't quite have it. I need to feel it more. I need to connect to it more. Also, just as a sidebar, you don't have to be fiddling with your iPod the whole time, turning it on and off. I tried to design those so you go through them a couple of times, like you were in class, kind of being led through it. And then I recommend that if you've tried it once or twice, you do a couple of freeform ones where you try to recreate it as best as possible. Don't think about the details of he said this, he said that. But that's another place where, I paste it so that you spend 3 minutes there, and you spend 12 minutes there when you're doing it solo, totally fine. So he said, it was the second time I was doing this, and the extra time really helped me get clearer sensations. Great. By focusing on the internal feelings, I started sensing how blocked the area felt. I noticed how my focus was causing me to tense the rest of the body. Great. So again, he's not thinking about all the different body parts at once, but by just landing in one place, he starts to tune into the peripheral sensations, right? The whole body was tensing up to try to get there. So I tried a different approach, an opposite approach. Instead of using my intent to try to get into the area, I used a general sense of sinking in the whole body below to gently pull or let it flow down everything that was in the crown of the head. It worked really well. My whole body remained fully relaxed, and it helped the sensations in the crown get easier to deal with and become clearer. It got to a point where I distinctly felt a central point, which I figured had to be the gate. I would probably agree. I stayed on the gate until unexpectedly there was a sudden release, somewhat like a sensation of shivers on the surface of the skin right above the point, which quickly spread down around the skull like a crown. After that, I spontaneously got a very big wave of sinking down the whole body. I didn't even need to do the rest of the session in any active fashion. It had just taken care of itself. So, a couple of things about this, aside from the direct experiences themselves, which we can talk about a little bit more, I love the way he captured the description. But one of the challenges is the next time he practices, he's going to be tempted to try to re experience the exact same thing. So this whole idea of verbal processing for what you experience when you stand, I take notes. Some of the best standing, some of the best learning I've done is when I start to see patterns. But the notes have to happen after. He had to give this description after and put words on it. If he goes back, though, and tries to take these same words into the next time he stands and feels, you're going to set yourself up for getting stuck. You're going to have expectations of certain experiences, and you're going to be processing it again through that verbal filter, which, if you notice, right, he talks about suddenly, spontaneously, and it taking care of itself. All that language points to the fact that he wasn't trying to project a particular experience, but by listening the right way and taking himself out of the hard focus, he uncovered the actual direct experience of things releasing, of the energy opening up and letting go. And that's the way you want to do it. So that was excellent. Excellent. So try to step into your practice time and have the experience directly. And then you'll find it helpful to try to verbalize it after the fact. And don't jump to that right away. I see this sometimes with people, this tendency to really try to put words on it right away. But my sense from this one comment was that he sort of sat back and reflected on it, went at it a couple of times, right? It was the second or third time he was going at it. And that seems like a great use of processing, writing, verbal expression to give him some useful guidelines for going into the next session. Now, very technically, this is right on the cusp between sinking and dissolving. What I would say is he found a way to reduce excess tension he was using to try to go right into the point. Excellent. Just hang out at that crown point a little bit longer. If you get the waves, you get releases, you get things to drop in a sudden fashion, cool. Just hang there a little bit more. Let that stuff pass through you. And this notion of letting energy drop through the body, letting things pass through your system, this is a really interesting one that several of you are writing back about, right? To have a sensation release through you is an interesting concept. Normally we think about just moving, right? Or just doing one thing or another. The energy and the body are moving together. But to have a separation between the physical structure, the container of the body, the energy sinking through it, and then the things that get kind of dragged along, like the tide going out, pulling things across the sand, across the beach. You start to have that experience of the beach itself being there, the wave going out, that's the energy moving, and all the stuff that gets caught in the wave are these things that release through your body. There are a lot of different layers in there. And to me, more and more, what's important about that is not which seashell you're paying attention to, which experience you're having. Is it pain? Is it energy? Is it muscle releasing? Is it nerves? Okay. These days, I think what's most important about that is the quality of mind that you're developing that allows you to have that experience. So, just to recap, I think some note taking, reflection is really great as long as you look at that verbal processing as a way to sort of encapsulate what just happened. The challenge with it is not carrying that forward into your next practice session, because over time you will accumulate a bunch of different experiences, and then these meta patterns will sort of emerge, and you'll have a different set of guideposts to deal with, right? And this keeps happening at all these different layers. So don't set yourself up for the expectation that you'll experience that same thing again or a particular thing again. And then as you're going, lots of the feedback that I'm hearing is pointing to this idea that you're getting better at experiencing the whole and feeling the stable container with your awareness that allows you to start to feel things change and move through your system. So these are all great experiences, great responses. Thank you, as always, for sending stuff in, and I look forward to hearing more about your practice. Okay.